In today's lesson, I'm going to break down a Barry Harris style phrase that I just put down so we can look at how to practice components in your improvisation so you've got different things to join together and ways of thinking and composing as you play. If we haven't met before, my name's Sean. I studied with Barry Harris and now I run the Jazz Skills platform where I show people how to finally get fluent, cut through all the noise and learn the language of jazz in their playing so they can have the freedom to improvise. So let's take a look at this phrase. Let's see what we have. Several components in there. The first one is that triplet where we're arpeggiating a chord in the F major scale or C7 scale. Now, the F major scale is that, the C7 scale is this. So there'll already be people ready to type in the comments, that guy's an idiot, this is the same thing. Yeah, not quite, because the rules of improvisation can change, as we'll see on the C7. Certainly in the Barry Harris method, we would approach adding extra notes to those scales in different places, depending on whether it's the F major scale or the C7 scale. More about that in a minute. It doesn't matter if we're looking at this as F major or C7 for now. But a good thing to get comfortable with is things like the arpeggios through the scale. So for example, all the 4-note chords, right, through the scale. That's the one we're actually using. Then maybe you start to work on adding a half step below each one. So this kind of thing. And today, don't pay too much attention to my fingering. This is the 9-fingered pianist for now. Yeah, long story. So we're using the one just below the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and F. So I've got the half step underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 triplet 2. Surround note of the F, right? And 1 surround note down the scale. Now it gets even more interesting because we're going to start to use an extra note from the Barry Harris method. If you're descending in a C7 scale, you can add that B natural. And you could end up going down a scale and do whatever you want, or you could end up joining to a chord, which is what I've done. So that wouldn't be the same in the F major scale, actually, because in the F major scale, we can put the extra note there. That's a great bit of fingering, thanks to the finger. Right? But in C7, okay, so let's review what we've got so far. The arpeggio, surround, down the scale, 1 extra note. And now why are we jumping from this B flat down to the D? Because we're using what's called a pivot. All this is, at this stage, is this chord, the 4 chord, pivoted. So pivoting is, we do this, for example, if there are horn players in a class and the phrase we're using gets too high, they cut the top bit and put it down below. So this, it can also be a creative endeavor. I'm cutting it from the D and putting it below the B flat, right? Same notes, B flat D, F A, B flat D, F A. And then just down the scale, right? So the whole thing together will be like this. So we've got triplet, arpeggio, surround, down the scale with the extra note, pivoted chord, and down the scale. If you start to think in components, then you can do all kinds of stuff. So you can go like chord, scale, chord, scale. All kinds of things once you get used to working in components. If it's time to level up your jazz improv or just learn the language and get fluent in the first place, we've got structured lessons for you with personal help from me on Jazz Skills. Come and see us there.